Okay.
Yes, we are here.
I get confused.
We are doing this together again. We are live on 2 phones, and the phones are next to each other. We're gonna, just like we are next. None of this even matters for you. So, welcome, and we are just gonna wait until... What?
It said pause due to poor connection, so I hope this works out.
Things are working. I see people
I
are
see
joining.
hearts.
People are...
I see
people
hearts
are joining.
flowing.
Okay.
Hello, Angelica.
So
hello,
we
everyone.
are going to be talking. We are also getting positioned. This is all very casual. Mine seems to be...
See, they're saying we can hear you.
Yeah.
Nothing's freezing or anything like that?
Can everybody hear and see us?
I don't know why it keeps saying.
Yeah.
It seems like it's fine, so...
Yep. Okay, just...
We should be
oh my
good.
God. We are gonna send some dragons in here to clear, release, delete, and transmute any technical difficulties, any problems with the Wi-Fi. Solved. Is it solved?
Maybe
Slight freezes.
We'll do a collective Wi-Fi prayer.
It seems to be okay. Yeah. Yes, I think it's okay.
Here in Slovenia, hello there in Slovenia. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We're really going to get a collective prayer going in this one. And we're just waiting for some more people to hop on. Going to give it another few minutes. But we'll be going into a lot of different stuff around war, specifically around conflict, around what we're seeing in the collective, and what prayer kind of means throughout this whole experience, and how we can just stay grounded with a grounded, healthy perspective throughout all of this karma that we're witnessing.
Yep. So
hello from Poland.
Yeah, there's people from all over. Very good. So wherever you are, I was not planning on starting, but am I gonna start?
No, I want to start with the prayer.
Yes.
So
yes.
We're just gonna start with what's up, Nicholas? We're gonna start with a Pleiadian prayer that I use a lot, and it's really just setting this collective space. So for anyone that's joining in, we're all going to be kind of enveloped in this container of protection and of Gaia's embrace. So you can just follow this prayer along with me as I say it. May we know peace. May we know love. May we know ourselves in gratitude of the gifts of the kingdom that are bestowed upon us now. May we know peace. May we know prosperity. May we know our brother as ourself, our sister as ourself. May we see others as they truly are, and not as how we've been instructed to see them. May we know God in the air, in the earth, in the water, in the fire, in the aether, in the other, throughout all time and in all space. We offer ourselves to God in this agreement. Behold, we make all things new. All right, it is so.
Okay, so this whole thing, this idea of doing this live got started. I've been playing around with this idea for a while because of course these conflicts in the Middle East have been going on for years and years, off and on, and they have taken on different form here and there, kind of focused on different parts of the Middle East, but this has been an ongoing conflict. So what we're gonna do is kind of get into why. From an esoteric point of view, why is there so much focus on the Middle East. What is the cause of this? And what are they trying to accomplish with this? And how can we, from our point of view, help? And I did a video on this a couple days ago, and you can always go back and check that out. And it's titled The Dragon Rising in the Middle East. And I'm just quickly going to go over that again for those that did not watch that video. So there's two camps, two groups of people I see in the spiritual community, and I don't want to hold any judgment towards either of these groups, because they are both doing what they feel is necessary and contributing in a way that they feel is best in alignment for them. And you will see some people are very vocal about this whole conflict in the Middle East, and from their spirituality, their responsibility as a channel, they try to spread awareness on this. And then there's a group that feels there's not really much they can do, because this is such a big conflict, and they feel powerless, and they're like, what is there really that we can do? Because nothing really changes. And so I can understand both groups. So every person has to do what they feel is right for them. And I've definitely been going back and forth between these two groups, and I will speak on it sometimes when I feel that it's in alignment, such as today and a few days ago, when I saw that again there was a bomb dropped on Syria by Israel, and this whole thing made the news again. And it was right when we did this Pleiadian transmission that we did the day before. And I feel all these things are connected. It is all this energy in the world of purging, of stuff coming up out of the ground, stuff being purged, is what I'm feeling. And also the Middle East is a place where there are a lot of stargates. And stargates don't necessarily only mean artificial stargates. These are also natural, energetic hotspots that can be really noticed from outside of the planet. These are spots with a lot of energy, a lot of celestial frequencies that are concentrated in the earth in the Middle East. And there are spots like that all over the world that have started to release these frequencies from the planet, but the Middle East is probably one of the biggest concentrations of this energy. So yeah, what is the real reason? And I get into it more in that other video that I did a few days ago for these wars. It's not really about politics. It's not about oil. These are all masks. These are not the real reasons why this war is going on. This is a war on frequency, on consciousness, is what this really is. And it is basically twofold. One is they are trying to control these stargates in the area, and the second one is that they are also harvesting this trauma energy from war, this fear, this anxiety that they are generating in the area. So those are the two main reasons that I was shown why this is happening in that area specifically. So yeah, if you want to.
And these stargates, we have to become more familiar with these stargates and not think of them as this like grand, like it's a crazy cool concept for us to remember exists, but we think of it as this kind of like sci-fi storytelling mythology thing. But these stargates are what is the creational blueprint is made off of. These stargates are the zodiac system and the zodiac signs. And so each of these 12 zodiac stargates exists as a system around our individual body, as well as the blueprint system around all planets, around all stars, around the entire multiversal structure. So as she's saying, this attempt to control consciousness is this service to self empire that has spread itself through these different territories in the galaxy and in the universe. And wanted to take control of these stargates in different star systems and on specific planets. So when these beings have control of these stargate systems, it's very much looks like what we've been experiencing for the last 12,000, 14,000 years since the last fall of Atlantis, and it started before the fall of Atlantis. And so when these beings are controlling these stargates, they're running an artificial system. They're running artificial time cycles, which looks like the concealed shadow, the manipulation, the slavery, all of this stuff we're becoming aware of. So when we all start to tune more into our organic Stargate system individually, that means that Stargate system organically is turning back on for the planet. So that's going to push the artificial goo and the artificial density and trauma out of these specific areas that correspond to these different Stargates. And so one of these main Stargates that's being worked with right now is the 10th Stargate, which is connected in Iran and Iraq. And this Stargate exists in our left ear, and then again about 6 inches above our head in the soul star chakra. So as these things are happening for the planet, we're going to be feeling collective stimulation around these specific aspects and parts of our body, and how these specific parts then correspond to different timelines throughout our Akashic records. So a lot of times we're looking at these experiences and these circumstances and thinking like, well, how do I contribute to this? How do I connect with these stargates? I'm going outside of me. I'm praying for this thing that's outside of me. But when you know that you're the construct of this 12th dimensional blueprint yourself, you can pray to these parts of the world just by focusing on that part of your body.
Mm-hmm. That was very interesting. And I see that we're getting comments. We're going to kind of go through what we want to share, and then I suggest that we check the comments.
Yeah.
Because what I also received a couple days ago when I did this live of my own that I talked about before, that's on my account, I got this entire download from the dragons too, because in everything that I do, I always work with the dragons. So they showed me, basically we went there in the astral, and they showed me how there was this diamond light that was coming out of the ground, and these were these nodes, these energetic hotspots. And what happened is that they basically buried this very celestial serpent energy, the original mother dragon serpent energy, that was the original spirituality in the beginning, before it got hijacked by these negative entities like Ryan explained. This happens in other star systems, in other galaxies, where they go through this whole cycle. Then on planet Earth, this inversion took place again of this original mother dragon energy, this original life force kundalini serpent that allows for us individually to fully connect into the ground and fully connect to source energy fully without needing somebody else. And it goes hand in hand with this DNA hijacking or tampering that happened, this original dragon energy that we all have access to. And so it is basically all there, and it's been hijacked and is now being utilized by these negative forces. What I also want to say, because people sometimes think, oh, isn't all this negative, and is this going to slow down or stop the ascension cycle? No, they are literally like a cornered animal that is now acting, that's throwing a tantrum. And that's what it looks like. A lot of stuff is being purged from the planet, and it looks very chaotic right now. But it is because they have to make a lot of noise. And the thing is, I wrote an article about this, and I may put it in a description or something that you can go read. This ascension cycle cannot be stopped. It is impossible to reverse. It is impossible to stop. They've been trying to slow it down, but now everything is accelerating, and you will have noticed this in your personal life. Stuff is just going really fast. Manifestation happens more rapidly than it has ever happened before. And we're seeing this by this purging that the planet is also doing. So now there's this diamond frequencies that are trying to come out of the ground, basically, that are going to provide the planet as a whole with a lot of healing. So that is what we are going to be doing today with you as a collective, as a group that is all online together right now.
And in our video, the Dragon Codex that we made a while ago, we talk about this hijacking of the dragon energy and this kind of inverted dragon that has taken the patriarchal stance, that has pushed the mother out of the picture, is attempted to bury the mother while utilizing the essence and the power of the mother. This is what we're talking about when we're saying today we'll be reversing the dragon. So this diamond mother light that is activating inside of the planet, it's pushing this inverted dragon network into our awareness more and more. So again, just like we have the Stargate system around our body, we have the chakra system as well. And if we're operating off of the 7 chakra system, those 7 chakras correspond to different parts of the planet, just like the Stargates. And so what these artificial beings have done is entangled us with their inverted dragon energy, with their patriarchal dragon energy, which again gets entangled and exists in our body. And so as we're examining the conflict within ourself, we're actually dismantling this external dragon network, inverted dragon network, and replacing it with the truth of the organic mother-father dragon network.
Mm-hmm. Because, of course, if you've been watching our other stuff, the original dragon energy is the seraph angelic frequency that is this direct beam of light that connects Mother, Father, God to every being that is existing. And you can tune into this completely, but it's been inverted and hijacked. And we see this in the mythology around dragons, for instance, and I wrote a whole story on that that you can find on my website, and we talk about this, and we will talk about this way more in the future. So yeah, do you want to do questions first or do our prayer for
Let's look at some questions.
Yes. We have 2 chats going on, by the way. We have 2 phones next to each other. So we are going to be going through the different chats on 2 phones. Okay. Iran Williams says, when I was a little girl, I visited Iran and felt the energy strong like how you're conveying it. I'm American and they were also nice and kind to me. Not like how the news portrays exactly. I lived in the Middle East for a while. Some of you may know this. Most of you probably don't. I lived in Bahrain, which is a small island in the Persian Gulf where I worked as a teacher. And this was in 2008 when all this stuff was happening with, oh, you should not go to the Middle East. What are you thinking? Why would you go there? And I went there and it was nothing like what I was told, nothing like what the news showed me. I've never been more accepted, invited to random people's weddings, given food from people's homes than when I was there. I've never in any country in the world been so well received. So yeah.
And that just is like, I think this goes into someone saying lifting this curse that they've put on people through false religion. And that goes into what I was going to say about internal war and internal conflict. And we have to recognize that this war manifests from the vibration internally. And so everything that we're doing that has to do with judgment, that has to do with separation, that has to do with hierarchy and superiority and trying to coerce people into making choices based on how you think they should be, all of that is the preempt to war. All of that is the accumulation of conflict over and over and over again, trying to harmonize and not being able to find harmony through its friction. So we see this this manifestation of this emotion in the external through the global governments and through the politicians and through these people. And while many of us would not, I don't think, I don't know, this is interesting, would not press a button to take us to war, I think a lot of people think that they wouldn't, but they have this energy wedged deep down inside of them that is actually as simple as what Yeshua talked about, as judging your neighbor, as seeing your neighbor as yourself. And if we're not doing that, if we're not seeing all humans as this divine recognition, as this equality, and especially if we're putting on this spiritual mask of wanting to make ourselves seem like we're on the other side or on the side that we're supposed to be on, well, so many people are still invested in the state of separation. They're just running around with this personality, and they're still claiming judgment through their judgment towards themselves. They're in internal conflict with themselves 24/7. And so that is contributing to the matrix of the vibration of conflict and war, because that individual is not finding harmony within themselves first and foremost. And that is perpetuating this energy of judgment.
Mm-hmm. We should look at some more comments. My family is from Iran, and I think that must have an influence on me, which I have trouble understanding. Well, the fact that you are here with this DNA in your body, and that you are on a spiritual journey, because you're watching this, a consciousness journey, means that you for yourself in your body are now actively healing and reversing this energy, because the desert is also a place and that location that is inherently divine feminine in nature. It is connected to the throat chakra, and we'll get into that later, which is all about flow expression. And the fact that you are, because I believe you said you were in the US, but your family's from Iran, so you are reversing this for yourself, but also for the people that came before you in your bloodline, I feel.
And someone said, sometimes it feels like I am dropping into sleeping parts of DNA. And that's exactly what this is. It's we think of going to 12, a lot clearing from the throat, going to 12-strand DNA. That's what this is. That's the Stargate system. That is moving back to the connection with the zodiac system itself and reconnecting into these stargates. So that's going to awaken these sleeping aspects of the DNA. And that's exactly what's happening collectively as well, because the DNA is directly connected to our neural pathways and our thought patterns. So these thought patterns create continued time loops and continued entrapment and limitation within the DNA. So this reversing, this purging, this feeling fatigue, feeling collective nausea, collective a density, sickness, trauma, all of that, as we're purging that's the sleeping DNA that's awakening and clearing all of that stuff out. And so as you're awakening this DNA, you're reforming the neural pathways in your mind to create new thought forms. It's like the concept of taking psychedelics and creating a fresh blanket of snow through all of the tracks that have been sledded on over and over and over. So that's the process that's happening with the planet right now. And you're connecting the DNA in with the Stargate system of the planet itself. UFO signs that confirm this message. Messages in the clouds. I get a lot of messages from the clouds as well.
Yesterday we saw a cloud that was shaped like an orange dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like we can always, I think all of you have been looking at the clouds and been like, oh, that looks like a dragon. It's kind of shaped like it, but the one yesterday really looked like an orange dragon. But what I wanted to add to what we're also doing with all of this war stuff coming up, and because we are awakening to our multidimensional state of being, is we are collapsing timelines from other star systems where there have been parts of us that have been in similar wars, where the state of the planet was in a very similar state right before ascending. And I said this also in the other video, we are like right underneath this barrier and there's no stopping it. But because we are right underneath the barrier, it looks like chaos, but we're literally right under it. And that's why now everything that needs to fall away is falling away. Everything that needs to be, basically any illusion that is now still trying to exist on the planet, is being burnt away so that the truth can be illuminated. And we are recognizing this from other times in space, reality, star systems, galaxies, where our souls have had these same experiences. And because time isn't really a thing beyond the 3D, we are connecting directly to these points in time space of our soul and collapsing them all here for this ascension. All these points of your soul are assisting you in this moment right now, which is what we are now anchoring into the planet, so that the planet can also go through her ascension process and unlock all of these higher frequencies.
I'm glad someone said this, the Vatican portals. This is a part of all of the war. I have so much clearing from my throat right now. But part of the prayer that we're going to do at the end of this is we're going to be bringing in energy, not bringing in energy from the Vatican, but we're going to be reversing the Vatican Black Dragon network and replacing it with this Diamond Light network. So the Vatican portals, we're going to be praying to kind of cover those. And I always use the metaphor of like a tube of toothpaste, and there's all of this disease, all of this sickness within the tube. And just like someone else commented, you know, you don't get sick, but you're feeling coughing, exhaustion, all the throat stuff. That's like, it's the goo, the black goo in the tube being pulled up and squeezed out of the Stargate that is the top. So that's what this looks like when that the war is starting and all of these things are conflicting. It's this black energetic miasma and broken, mangled DNA that is coming up to the surface to be seen and to be alchemized. And so that's why it's so important for us to be in a state of recognizing the divine and seeing the divine within everything, while holding discernment around the energy that it is that we're observing. So it's really as simple as being in a state of observation. And so many people think that they still don't trust the body in its ability to transmute this stuff when they move through the ascension process. They think the moment they get sick that they need to go to a doctor, that it signifies this other thing, or they still hold this potential of all these what ifs. I call it the insurance perspective. It's, well, what if this, what if this, what if this, what if you're not covered for this? And so we're so programmed about these what if potentials that we allow them into our life. And so as we're claiming less of this what if, claiming more of this inherent polarization of service to others, then we're able to just observe and to feel and allow things to move through us. Because a lot of what we're experiencing, as Deborah is saying, is symptoms of Akashic PTSD. There is PTSD entangled throughout all of our Akashic DNA.
And we talk about this in some of the podcasts that some of you may have already watched. We bring this up a lot in relationship to each other. You are going to subconsciously always be influenced by previous, because time, again, is not really a thing. You're going to always be influenced by the parallel interactions that you're having with somebody's soul in another point in time. And that also means with collective energy, such as now this, let's call it, reversed dragon / reptilian hijacked energy that you have encountered in other star systems, where it manifested as a different type of conflict. And here it has manifested in a variety of different ways, such as the Atlantean Cabal, the fall of Atlantis, the Roman Empire, and now it is the Zionist agenda. And also, one last thing that I really want to say, there is a big difference between being anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist. Those are two very different things, because anti-Semitism is basically targeting Jewish people as a whole, which is not at all what we are doing here. That is definitely something I would never choose to do. Anti-Zionism has nothing to do with Jewish people as a population. It has everything to do with trying to enforce a state, an Israeli state, and the politics of that are against its own people, against the Jewish people. And they consist out of people with all kinds of backgrounds: Arabic people living in Palestine, Jewish people living in Palestine, Hebrews living. So that is basically two very different things. And most Zionists are actually Catholics, so they don't even have anything to do with Judaism. So I just wanted to clarify that. Anyway, yeah.
and the funny thing is too, like, these service to self factions, you know, they have all of their territories. They're kind of, I call them like, they're gangs basically, and they're claiming different ideas, philosophies, territories, and then putting in these religions to make us fight. But these beings are also at war with themselves. They're the definition of their reality is war, because they're in a completely internally conflicted state at all times. So the Zionist movement, the Catholicism movement, all the, Babylonian, all of these different religious labels that have brought in different types of hierarchies and different types of gods, these are all at war with themselves as well. So really what is happening is this sense of us witnessing this war consciousness essentially fight itself and bring itself out of the darkness to be seen.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. A few people said that they really love listening to us, that it resonates with them. Somebody says, I live in the Sonoran Desert. I live there too, and that's the same thing. It's a very intuitive energy living in the desert. Somebody says, I live in LA, and I think it's a city with lots of awakening DNA because it's filled with lots of different cultures. Yes, there's definitely places, and a lot of European cities are the same, where there's a lot of energies coming together, collapsing, and because we are awakening at a very rapid pace, I think in my case, and we're kind of digressing a little bit, we'll get back to the topic, that I have had phases in my life where I've lived in cities. I've lived in several Spanish bigger cities, I've lived in Belgium in cities, I've lived in different places where I needed that energy, that multi-layered frequency energy to rapidly awaken all kinds of stuff inside of me, and then I would feel that I needed to be in nature, and I would go unpack a lot of this stuff and ground it into nature. So
that's not off topic at all either, because like someone talking about Los Angeles, like it's the same as Manhattan, like these areas and all these other cities that are across the world, they're convergence points. And so these areas were large convergence points for Atlantis and for Lemuria. Mm-hmm. And so like in California, that was a very large Lemurian convergence point. Then Manhattan, New York area, that was a very large Atlantean convergence point. So in America, in the United States, and I've mentioned this before, in the Four Corners area, that was a convergence between Lemuria and Atlantis. And so in all of these different areas that I just mentioned, there have been war, there has been conflict, because the nature of the location is a convergence point. So there's a lot of energy coming to that area, and then you drop down into inner earth, and there's crystal portals and stargates and really powerful technology. So these areas where there are a lot of people coming together, this is reenacting the karma from these previous war experiences from these other timelines. And this is perfect again because we're going to tune into some of these places today in this prayer, and we're going to be placing this diamond, bringing this diamond light into it. And so these large areas where there's very dense population, it's like that for a reason, because it's a convergence point, and that makes it a little bit more ripe for these service to self factions to implement their agendas in these other ways. I saw someone, Nick, I wanted to answer. Nick, you asked, is service to self inherently self-destructive? Yes. Service to self is a parasite. It's a consciousness parasite that is, like, you think of a parasite in the body that wants to basically consume the body until the body is dead. That's what this service to self consciousness parasite is. And because they're then in this digressed finite state, they're destructing themselves. They're in the state of destruction in an imbalance. So they're in the fire element, in this state of destruction, and they're constantly burning. They're over-burning. They're over-consuming. And so that state of destruction is their inevitable timelines that will always lead to their collapse.
Mm-hmm. And this perfectly connects to the article that I talked about before, and it explains the entire multiverse and the connection to the original dragon, and how this parasite, basically, you could look at it like the body is expanding and expanding, and the first original universe goes through this whole cycle of expansion, and it learns everything that there is to learn. It then needs to expand, but instead of going in a cycle, this dragon serpent goes into a spiral upwards and expands. But at a certain point, it's like a muscle. If you are an athlete and you expand at a very fast pace, you will get little tears in the muscle, which makes it vulnerable. And that's how they showed it to me. At a certain point, this parasite gets in there, and that's how this contrast gets created, because the spiral gets bigger and bigger. If you have, like, it starts little, then it gets really big. Point A to point B is suddenly way wider, which means that these tears are going to be starting to manifest, which means that this contrast is bigger than it was in the very beginning. But there's a certain point, it's like a bow and arrow, and you pull back the arrow, there is a limit to this. You have to let go of this arrow, and that's what I mean with this barrier. We are right underneath this barrier. It looks like there's a whole lot of chaos, there's a whole lot of darkness. We see this. This is not fake, this is happening. But we are right underneath this barrier where this arrow is going to shoot up, and it's going to go fast, and you're going to notice how fast things are shifting in your life. Things are also shifting really fast on a collective level. And I kind of completely forgot what the original thing was that I was talking about, so...
Not necessary. And this is us moving into this quantum state of experience.
I'm getting really warm from talking. This needs to go.
This is us moving into this quantum state of experience. It's moving from these linear, always like this, to you're standing in one spot and you're resonating. You're moving you're vibrating in a frequency, rather than having these very long, drawn-out linear experiences. So this is where we start moving into this quantum field. And what I've been told is that this next year, the year of 9, is the official year where we become and anchor into a social memory complex. So this is us moving into the organic fifth dimensional law of one social memory complex based in love, as well as this artificial hive mind moving into their hive mind social memory complex based off the inversion of the law of one. So this is our simultaneous connection and experience. Should we do some of this prayer, or
Yes.
do you have more to say?
No, I just wanted to say that that's what I've been feeling for 2025 is going to be a year of very positive shifts I'm feeling, but simultaneously there's going to be a lot of purging, and it's almost going to feel like, how can these two exist side by side? But it's going to somehow be effortless. You're gonna see that the more that you choose, and this ties into a question, what's the fastest way to raise our vibration? When you're surrounded by people that are choosing to identify with more negative timelines or negative programming, that you can always, especially in these times of extremely rapid manifestation, you can capitalize upon that and choose the timeline that you want to manifest, that you can more and more realize that you are the creator of your own reality, even in a world where there is war happening, even in a world where there is so much contrast. Now is the time to individually start making changes, and the more little individuals are able to anchor into this ascension timeline, the more that they're going to group together. So I suggest, that we get started with the...
I have a psychic insight to the person you were just talking. There's so you are feeling bad about leaving relationships and claiming vibration towards other people, and thinking that if you claim a vibration that recognizes you're higher than them, then that means that you're better than them in some way. So you really need to go through this process of claiming this vibration for yourself, and claiming a state of reciprocation, and claiming this state of reciprocation in relationship, and being willing to drop the relationships, any relationships that you have that are not reciprocating your vibration. And when you're claiming this, you're going to be shown where you're not being reciprocated. So as that negativity comes up, as you're seeing like, wow, I don't really want to hang out with these people anymore, you have to stick with that. You have to draw a boundary and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm going to place myself in this daily devotion where I know I can be reciprocated through relationship, and I trust that those relationships are making their way to me already. And so really claiming your birthright, claiming your power, that you don't have to give yourself over to relationships and negative energy currents that aren't reciprocating you anymore.
Yeah, I suggest that we...
Sandra, pay very close attention to what's about to happen in this prayer, because we do have impact to influence the war, but we are not here to control and stop things. We're here to observe them and to be in a compassionate state as they play out. So this isn't about us attempting to stop things. It's about recognizing karma, and that karma needs to balance itself out. And that doesn't mean we condone war or we say it's necessary, but it does mean that any aspect of control, of us wanting to control, is the consciousness of war. It's the consciousness of conflict, because we're wanting to control the situation. So this, what we're doing right now, this is how we influence war, and this is how we step into a deeper space of prayer and trusting in the prayer and the vibration that we put out, that it's actually doing something. Should I start?
Yes. Okay.
So wherever you're sitting or you are, if you can close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes or leave them open. Just feel the resonance of this prayer, this visualization, this meditation. As you tune into your physical body, really anchoring in this broadcast of this channel that you are, from wherever you are on the planet, feeling the movement of your heart muscle, feeling the presence of your breath, really, really crystallizing where you are planting your current flag of sovereignty in the ground of Gaia. And you tune in to the center point of your heart chakra, breathing in this golden diamond frequency. As you receive the presence of your soul star chakra 6 inches above your head, tuning into the presence of this soul star chakra, this 10th chakra, and intending to receive into this soul star chakra the crystalline diamond light from the sky, from the heaven, from the source creator, directly into this soul star chakra 6 inches above your head. As you're feeling it gather in this soul star chakra, you begin allowing this diamond light to move down your channel as your crown opens, moving down into your crown, spreading throughout your entire Stargate system, throughout your body. Perhaps feeling this diamond light fill spaces of the body that you have not felt presence in before. Asking this diamond light to go exactly where it needs to go in your physical body. As it continues moving down your channel, through your throat chakra, through your heart chakra, continuing down through the solar plexus, as it's expanding out horizontally, connecting into this Stargate system. As it continues down, filling your root chakra, and then extending down through your legs, feeling this diamond light in the bottom of your feet, as it continues down 6 inches below your feet into the Earth Star chakra, feeling the connection between this Earth Star chakra and your Soul Star chakra. In this field, we're summoning the Divine Mother of Sophia Christ, this original Mother Time, to expand throughout your entire field, and now extend into any place of the planet that you would like to give energy to, holding this location in your mind, as you feel the connection between this healing diamond crystalline light that is now connected from sky to ground, anchoring you into Gaia herself.
And just focus on this location where you find yourself right now. And focus on your body being this vessel for this celestial light, and your connection between your own physical body and the body of Mother Earth. And we're gonna call upon the golden seraphim dragons to assist us, and you may become aware of them as a warm, tingling sensation as you breathe in this golden light that you may be able to feel, you may be able to see it. And we call upon the earth dragons of all different corners of the planet, all different elements, water dragons, air dragons, fire dragons, earth dragons. And you can feel how they are assisting with anchoring your energy and merging it efficiently into the earth. And you can see or feel, if you're having trouble visually perceiving anything, you can feel how there is some kind of energetic earthquake that is happening underneath you. And this feels very positive. It is not an earthquake to be afraid of. It feels like things are releasing. So we are asking for the golden seraphim, the dragons, and the earth dragons to assist in anything that needs to be cleared, released, deleted, and transmuted from the earth, from all timelines where this Divine Mother Dragon, also known as Shaddai or Shekinah in Hebrew, or Sophia, has been hijacked, has been inverted, how her teachings have been kept from us. So you can feel for yourself how this is being released from your body and from the body of Mother Earth, as you are connecting your own diamond light from Mother, Father, God in the sky and all of your galactic incarnations down fully into the earth. And you can see how all of these diamond frequencies that were kept in the earth are being released.
And as you intend to connect directly with the Stargate system of the planet, you feel this diamond light spread and begin to cover the entire planet. The entire earth is now covered with this diamond Sophia Christ light that is connected to the central core of Gaia, to this crystalline diamond fire of love. As we connect through our Stargate system and the planetary stargates into all of the timelines in our Akashic records that have to do with war and conflict, control, jealousy, malevolence. We bring this energy into our impenetrable diamond field now and watch as this diamond field on the entire planet begins to delete and transmute all of this energy that has accumulated throughout time and space. As we now focus in on the country of Israel, bringing it into our presence, into our love. We now focus on the countries of Iran and Iraq. Bringing in the Gaza Strip, Syria, Russia and Ukraine, routing all of this through the 12th dimensional stargate in Kauai, as we reverse and remove any artificial dragon networks and ley lines that are connected to this organic stargate system. And through the heart of Sophia Christ, we send our divine recognition of love to all souls, to all beings, as we continue to claim our reality in acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude.
And just focus on this feeling of gratitude for your position here on the planet in this lifetime, and any emotions that may have come up for you during this meditation that are connected to grief, anger, feeling powerless. You can just release them over to the golden dragons, who can take them for you and burn away any illusion to illuminate the truth of the fact that you are here as an energetic transmutator of this energy, and that you are contributing by simply choosing your highest timeline and your own personal alignment with your dragon self that is connected to Mother, Father, God.
And to finish this off, we're going to bring in 2 more locations that hold core structures for this black dragon mind that continues to perpetuate this war. As we bring in the Vatican to this diamond grid, and we bring in the UK, Ireland, specifically Stonehenge, into this diamond grid of love. And we imagine a string of light coming out of Stonehenge, as we imagine a string of light coming out of the Vatican. And we bring these strings together and we tie them in a knot, finishing them in a bow, signifying the closing of this black dragon network and this artificial Stargate system for this current ascension cycle.
So you can just start focusing again on your body and slowly coming back. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and share what may have come up for you. That was it.
I feel complete.
Yeah. Let's see. Is prayer good or bad? I think we just proved that it can definitely be good, but prayer is basically just a directed manifestation that you are speaking out loud. So you can, it's like spells. You can choose what direction you want to take your prayer in. But when we say the word prayer, we always think of it in a positive context, of course.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I think if you're trying to use it for a negative context, then it stops being a prayer, really.
Hot flashes, yeah, but I get warm too when I talk about the dragons and do stuff with the dragons. Yep. Okay, and somebody said, I saw that, Palestine, not Israel. That is definitely, like the name thing, definitely, I agree that when I hear the word Israel, it makes me think of the artificial state of Israel that they are trying to enforce upon that part of the world. So I definitely see what you mean. But I think both words, Palestine, Israel, have been used to describe the original country that it was hundreds of years ago. And for me, the Palestinians are the original Israeli people that have then been killed in their own land. So I hope that that clarified something. So yeah, it is tricky when it comes to these names and the political connotation that they have been given over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use the country that I'm tuning into for that process. You know, if I don't understand what Palestine is, I'm not going to use it in a sentence. So,
I think a lot of people don't realize even what Palestine is because they've deliberately been kept from that information. It's like when we in the beginning saw somebody said, oh yeah, that's not at all what we see in the news about the Middle East. No, because the news is a propaganda machine for politics. It is not the actual situation of what is happening in a specific place in the world. And it's very interesting because I'm originally from Europe and I've been traveling all over the place for the past 15 years. Depending on the country where I'm in and when I watch, what is happening?
why is there only 20 seconds remaining?
I have no idea.
Did you set it for an hour?
No, I didn't do anything.
Huh.
How weird.
Well, hers might turn off in 15 seconds.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But,
You may have to switch over to his account.
mm-hmm.
But the news definitely is portrayed differently depending on what country you are watching it in. That is definitely true, and we've seen this too with politics, with the elections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. My life ended.
Hers
I
just
don't know.
ended for some reason. So we're not going to go for too much longer as well. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say.
Yeah, I agree with whimsical Wonder Woman. Can't wait until the starving. Yeah, indeed. That this whole inversion needs to take place where there's going to be an equal distribution of means and abundance. And I believe that that is definitely something that we are going to be able to do once we have fully anchored into this ascension timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there can't be infinite abundance if the collective is still anchored into a finite state of consciousness. So it's kind of all happening simultaneously, you know, and we see the abundance happening through AI systems and crypto and Bitcoin, but the abundance is going to be created in a different way through the New Earth type of timelines. So I think we're going to see a lot of humanitarian efforts starting more over the next couple years, and a lot of new nonprofits and organizations that are really based in back to the original core tenets of what it means to be a nonprofit and a humanitarian organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I would suggest to end this is if you are interested in a more in-depth analysis of what we went through in the beginning, check out my video that I posted a couple of days ago. That's titled The Dragon Rising in the Middle East. Check out the Pleiadian transmission that we did the same day. That got posted the same day. And yeah, stay tuned for more lives and the podcast episodes that we have released. And any questions, if you're watching the replay of this, put them in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And as always, we offer, her handle is Lemaire Soul Crafts. You write it.
Yeah. Description.
Lemaire. And so yeah, we offer one-on-ones. We each offer one-on-ones individually, and we offer containers for both of us. With others, multi-week long containers, and we're setting up. We have a dragon container, the Dragon Temple. So if you want to get more in tune with that and go through dragon initiation, we have that available in the link in our bios, and we're going to be starting setting up a channeling container, a group container for next year, like a 5-week or so group container around channeling and learning about that and getting in your own process. So stay on the lookout for that as well.
Yes. And I do have a few free courses. I have one free dragon lessons course that offers some very basic things on the dragons that you can find all in my link tree. I have a free Akashic Records lessons course and a free intuitive development course. You can find all of that if that is something you want to take a look at. That's it that I had to share.
All right, beautiful. And I guess for anyone still watching or anyone watching the replay, if you want a mantra sound to tune into that diamond grid that we just went through, you can use the mantra, and I'll put it in the description, Kam Sam Soha. So I'll sing it twice. It goes, Kam Sam Soha, Kam Sam Soha. So you can use that to continue to pray and tune into that diamond grid.
Mm-hmm.
All done?
Yep.
All right. We love you all. We'll talk to you soon.